guys, it's been a little while, over a week, so I wanted to come on and it's really rainy and gloomy here today in Ohio, so I'm in the mood to cook. So what else is new, right? Alright, so I'm on a mission again. I'm trying to use up what I have in my freezers because no sense in buying new when you already have what you need. Alright, so here's what I found in my freezer. I found a little tiny package of veggie crumbles, and I don't know if I made those or well whatever. Anyway, they're veggie crumbles, and those are need to be used up. Then I have this little tiny bit of Frank's hot sauce that I got the other day when I went to breakfast with my daughter. I like Frank's on my omelets and eggs. Then last month I cooked up a batch of pinto beans and froze part of it. So, and these were a little crunchy yet, so I'm going to cook these a little longer. But I'm going to make a chili. So I have an onion that's starting to sprout, so I'll put that in there. And the reason I want to make chili is because I have all these tomatoes. The little ones are still from my garden, so I'm going to put those in, and these are starting to get really soft. So I'll keep a couple. I want to have some for breakfast today with an avocado. That needs to be used up. I'm on a mission to use up all my produce, and then I'm going to be going to my freezer stash before it all gets freezer burned and goes bad. I also have these green onions that are in need of getting used, so I will top the chili off with that. And I also have some plant-based yogurt that I'll be dolloping on top of it instead of using sour cream. So, and I have this very dry, hard, I've had this in the refrigerator. I'm going to cut this up into little slices, so, and toast those up, and I'll have some for breakfast with my avocado and tomato, and I'll probably put some garlic on and have that with my chili. So that's the plan, and I'm going to start chopping up some things and then I'll be back. Okay, I cut up my baguette and I sprayed it with a little bit of, this is garlic butter flavored canola oil. I get this online at Amazon. I like the way this tastes. The only thing I don't like about it is it's got this funky little sprayer and it sprays everywhere. So you want to maybe put it in your sink or somewhere because it makes a mess. I just finished cleaning up all the oil that it spurts out. So anyway, I just put a little garlic salt on there. And now I'm going to bake this in the oven, just toast it up. And then I'm going to have some of it for breakfast, and I'll have some of it later on with something else. Now I decided to also, before I bake it, I have some chives that I got from my garden, and this is just a Dollar Tree candle jar. It's a little mason jar that I get all my candles from the Dollar Tree, and so I use those to put spices in. So I got that, and then I just wanted to show you this. I also, from the garden, had some curry in there, and this stuff is like fluff. It's the weirdest stuff, you know. When you have curry, usually it's like a brownish color. So I haven't tried this yet, but I've got a couple jars of that. I put it in my dehydrator and then in my little coffee spice grinder. But yeah, it's like fluff. So I've got that. And then I also got some rosemary from the garden, and this I put also through the spice coffee mill because I didn't want the hard little pieces, so, but it smells really good. So those are from the garden, a little leftover. All right, I'm going to bake these now, and I put some of the chives on here to give a little extra flavor. So I'll be back. One of my favorite things from the Dollar Tree, and one of my favorite things to use in the kitchen, is parchment paper. And since I use quite a bit of it, the Dollar Tree has it. It's a good size roll. It's 25 feet, and it's $1. So I pick this up all the time when I go to the Dollar Tree. So I'm going to make some avocado toast for breakfast. And what I do is, I only usually eat half an avocado, and I've had these avocados probably for, well, since my last haul, which was a good 2-3 weeks ago. But what I do, I save the other half, I leave the pit in, and you can also coat it with a little cooking oil if you like, but I don't bother. And then I have a little Pyrex thing, and I just turn it upside down, and I store it in the fridge, and it's good for another good couple days, or the next day if you want to eat the rest of the avocado. So in here I have, this is where I put all my garbage, my produce. This tomato got too bad, onion skins, and I also save my, oh, there goes my toast. I also save my napkins and stick those in as brown material. This would be brown material too. So I keep this little thing in the kitchen, and it was just from a takeout meal, and it's got a little lid, and then every day I empty this into my big composter outside, and that way I don't have a lot of garbage. And in the spring coming up, I'll have some beautiful compost. So save your scraps. I put my avocado pits and everything in here, and I've actually grown well, 3 avocado plants now because they sprouted in the composter. So I didn't have the heart to throw them away. And I'll show you those some other time. In fact, I think I've already shown them to you in one of my gardening videos. All right, I'm going to go check my toast. Okay, my toast is beautiful. I'm going to let those cool off while I make my avocado. So I don't have a whole lot of counter space in my kitchen. It wasn't designed the best way. I should have thought it out a little better, but because of that I don't have a lot of counter space. So I have the cooktop, and I sometimes will put a cutting board on top of that, so then I have more counter space. Here's another thing that I do to save money. I save my tea bags. I use them more than once. I usually use them twice. And this cup of tea I made this morning, I like it really strong. So I actually have 3 tea bags in here. I have some Bengal spice and a wild sweet orange. And then I'll drink this afternoon with a snack or whatever. But I'll just reheat it in the microwave. Or you can drink it cold too. But I like to do that every day and have a cup of tea. And here I am making a candle, a new candle out of an old candle, because there's always wax left on the bottom of these candles. So I take a coffee warmer and melt the leftover wax, and while the jar is still hot, I take a paper towel and I get all the wax out because it's still melted, and then you know, I have a brand new candle to use, so it saves some money. All right, so now I'm just going to make my, and I just cut my avocado in half and then I just peel it. I think that's the easiest way rather than just, scooping it out. And then that goes in the compost. So what I usually spice my avocado toast with, I like to put a little garlic salt. So I like that. I like mine a little on the salty side. So I keep trying to use up these last few things of pepper. So I put some pepper in there. Sometimes I put a little Frank's in there too. Depends on the mood I'm in. And then I like to put a little lemon pepper in it. So not too much because you don't want it too salty, because the lemon pepper also has salt in it. So I put a little bit of that in, and then I usually put a little bit also of a little splash of lime juice. It gives it a little nicer flavor. So I'll be back when I get this all prepared. So I have this little avocado masher. I use it too when I make banana bread to mash my bananas. And I got that on Amazon a long time ago. But it's just the right size, and it just really does a nice job smushing up the avocados. So I like mine a little bit chunky. I don't like it too smooth. So that'll be breakfast, and then I'm going to cut up a couple of these little tomatoes, and then the rest of the tomatoes I'm going to use to make my chili. So another thing I made this week, I made a banana bread because I had 2 extremely mushy bananas. So I made a banana bread. That's a good thing for breakfast too. And I sprinkled a little coconut on top and a little bit of cinnamon sugar. So, and I like this recipe. It's not real moist, but it's not real dry. So, and it is better the next day. Next time I make it, I'll make a video. And if I get around to it, I'll put the recipe down below. Hopefully I remember. All right, I'm going to make my breakfast. Okay, so here is my breakfast. And I just sliced up a couple of those little Capomo tomatoes. And this way I don't waste my stale dry bread. I don't waste my soft tomatoes. And my avocado is still good. And they last a long time. So I'll be back in a little bit and we'll make some chili. Oh, excuse me. That was bad timing. So the rest of this crostini I'm going to save. It's good for eating with cheese or vegan cheese, whatever your preference is. You can put cream cheese on here, whatever you like. And you can season these, with whatever seasonings you want to season with. So I'm going to put these in the fridge, and I will be saving those for a snack or another meal. And then when I was going through my fridge, because this is how I'm cooking, I'm trying to use up what I have so I don't throw things away, I found a little pouch of rice pudding, and I know there's a lot of cinnamon in there because it's kind of brownish, and I've got, I think, raisins in there. So that'll be a dessert. I don't eat a lot of desserts, but every once in a while I get a little taste for something sweet. And my onion, now with my onion, the ends, this part I save in the freezer for soup. So you can put anything in the freezer and save it for soup, even lettuce, because you're going to cook it anyway. Oh, there she goes. So the ends I'm going to keep. Alrighty, I had a phone call. I got these tiny little premature peppers off of my banana pepper plant. I'm trying to overwinter a banana pepper that I brought in from my garden because I heard they're perennials and you can actually cut them back, and so I'm giving it a try. I also brought in a tomato that planted itself in a pot, and it never bore fruit because it just didn't grow that fast, but I'm going to try and overwinter that too. So I've always got projects going on. So I'm sauteing some onions over here, and I do want to stick these peppers in, and I'm going to chop up these tomatoes. I've got this little tomato chopper here that I got at Aldi's a few years back. I don't know if they still carry them, but I think you can get them on Amazon too. And they've got like these blades in the middle. Let me show you. And you can use these to make salsa or even to chop up your avocados. And then it's got this little pull thing, which I can't do holding it, but it's got the pull thing and it chops up your tomatoes or onions or whatever you put in there. So I want to add that to my chili. My beans have thawed. So got those. And I think I just seasoned those with a little seasoned salt and, you know, I don't remember because they were in the freezer. But sometimes when you get freezer things, it's kind of a surprise. Unless you put the ingredients on the label, which I'm not going to do. Too much work. So anyway, I'm going to get this all chopped up. And I'm using my little tiny Instapot here. It's a Kasori. I really like this thing. It's great for 1 or 2 people. You don't have a big huge pot that you've got to clean. So I really like it, and I use it a lot to make soups and things. I haven't made chili in there yet, but I'm going to. So I'll be back in a little bit. Oh, I wanted to show you too, before I turn this off. I'm going to put 3 nice cloves of garlic in there, and I use a rock, and this rock just fits my hand. It's got this little divot here for my thumb, so I got this rock outside somewhere, and then of course I sterilized it, and I use it to smash my garlic, and it works great. And then, of course, I put my peels in the composter. But see, then the garlic comes right out. And, yeah, I like my rock. I've had it for years. So if you're ever out and you find a nice rock that fits your hand, it's great for garlic. All right, I'm going to chop this stuff up, and I'll be back. Okay, so these are some of the spices I'm using. I have my tomatoes all chopped up, and I chunked up a big tomato. I'm going to leave that the way it is. I'm going to put my Franks in. Let me see, somewhere in here I have some crushed red pepper. So I'm going to put a little bit of that in. I don't like it real hot. I put in cumin. I do like a lot of cumin in my chili. I had a little taco seasoning, so I stuck that in there too. I put some turmeric in there because turmeric is very healthy, and some chili powder, and I sauteed my onions, garlic, and the little peppers. So those are done, and I added the seasonings, and I'm sauteing those a little bit too. So I think I might add a little bit of flour because I'm going to put the tomatoes and a little water in. And I like a thick chili. I don't like it too thin. So I'm going to go ahead and toast up, maybe a tablespoon or so of just flour. Okay, so here it is all cooked up. It's just tomato, or not tomatoes, peppers, onions, garlic, and my seasonings, and a little bit of flour. And make sure before you make your chili and you turn on your pressure cooker that you scrape all the nicely brown bits off the bottom so it doesn't burn. So I'm going to go ahead and put in the rest of my ingredients. My spices are already in there. And I'm going to leave those out because after this is cooked, I'm going to want to taste it. So I'm going to stick all these beans in. And like I said, these are pre-cooked. I cooked these about 3 weeks ago. So I want to use those. And then I got to see how thick this is going to be because I may end up using a can of tomato soup. I like to use tomato soup, just plain old tomato soup. So, but I'm going to go ahead and put my tomatoes in first and see how thick this is going to be. I have the feeling I'm going to be using the tomato soup because this is really thick. There's a lot of beans as opposed to the tomatoes. So I'm going to put these tomatoes in too. Like I said, I left one of them a little chunkier because that way you have a little more variety. So, yep, that looks good, but it needs more liquid. And this is how I cook. I just wing it. Can't forget my Franks. Don't want to waste that. And I just sauteed the onions and that in a little bit of oil, whatever oil you like. So yeah, this is really thick. It's too thick to cook like this, so I'm going to need a little more liquid. So that's what it looks like, and I'll be back. Okay, so I decided, I just got some, this is from Aldi's, their tomato soup, and it's condensed, so I'll be adding a little bit of water to this. And then this is a neat way to get the tomato paste out of the can. I open both ends, and then I just take the one end and I push out the tomato paste. Now this might be a lot of tomato paste for this, but that's okay. We're going to do what we're going to do. All right, and then I'm just going to put the soup in with it. And then I'm going to put about half a can of water in with this. Like I said, seasoning wise, I go by taste. I showed you the seasonings that I use. So, and I might, you know, add more. I have to see what it tastes like when it's done. So that looks like it's going to be good. Like I said, I like a thick chili. I don't like it real runny. So this is about a half a can of water. And then I'm going to set it in my little, I call it Instapot. It's not an Instapot. In my pressure cooker. And I don't know, I'm going to try maybe 10 minutes. Because everything in here is cooked except the tomatoes. So that's that. And chili, I always like chili better the next day. I think it tastes way better. And tonight, yesterday, I had some Impossible Burger that I got. I've been stocking up on that. And boy, that's expensive. It's not cheap. But I had a taste for a not meatloaf. So I made a meatloaf with the Impossible Burger, and it was really good. If I make it again, I'll put the recipe up. All right, I need to thin this just a little more, so 3/4 to 1 can I'm going to use of water. I probably didn't even need the flour, but it's in there now. But it looks like it'll be good. Now, when this is done cooking, then I'll add my crumbles, because otherwise they're just going to deteriorate, and you know, that's not good. So I'm just going to heat them through. So this is what it looks like. I think that'll be tasty. And I'm going to give this, like I said, about 10 minutes. And this is enough for me, probably at least 4 meals. All right, I'm going to cook this up, and I'll be back when it's done. So when I put my leftovers in the freezer, which I always have leftovers, I like to put them in little baggies. This is the banana bread I made, and it's just too much for me. My grandson isn't really eating it. He's really a picky eater. He and I don't eat anything the same. But anyway, so this banana bread, I made it like 3 days ago, and I don't want it to get moldy. So I put a couple slices in, and I'm going to freeze that to enjoy another time. So I always do my leftovers in single serving portions for me. So, and then the little crustinis that I made, I'm going to put those in the fridge too, because I don't eat anything fast enough. I'm not a huge eater. I mean, it's not like I'm skinny mini or anything, but I used to eat quite a bit when I was younger. My mom and I, we could eat more than my dad, but my metabolism has changed since I've gotten older, and I just don't have the appetite that I used to have when I was younger. So most of the food that I eat on a salad plate, because I can't fill up a big plate, and even a salad plate a lot of times doesn't have that much. So I usually eat 2 meals a day, and I'll have a snack around 3 o'clock, or if I have like a sandwich or something around that time, that'll be my main meal. Sometimes I like to have like a veggie sub or a burger or something. And then I'll have my later meal as a snack. So I usually eat 2 meals and a snack, or sometimes just 2 meals. But anyway, my chili is cooling off. I have it in my little pressure cooker there, and I'm just going to let it naturally come down, the pressure. And I cooked it 10 minutes. So hopefully it's good. And of course I had to get tomato sauce on myself. But anyway, so always serve, even if you have a family, it's a good idea to make single serving for your freezer, because that way, I know most families are really busy. Whoever's hungry can just take a meal out of the freezer, and you don't have to defrost a big huge pan of whatever it is you have. Okay, well, I'll be back later and I'll show you my chili. And I don't know if I'm going to make anything else today. I have a bunch of apples in there that I need to do something with. So I'm thinking, the other day I saw a recipe for an apple pie, mug pie cake. It was more like a mug cake. I might make something like that, but I think for today I have enough dessert. I still have, and I'm not a big dessert eater either, but I still have, I did keep out a couple slices of the banana bread, and this is all the coconut from the top that came off. So I still have that, and then I still have the rice pudding that I'm thawing out as well. I may just eat that for breakfast tomorrow. Okay, I'll be back later with my chili. Okay, I'm done making my chili, and this is what I put together. I didn't want to just eat chili this evening because I still had meatloaf. I baked 2 potatoes yesterday that I was trying to use up those before they go bad. So I have meatloaf with barbecue sauce. I have a baked potato, and I put my chili on top of that. I have a little vegan sour cream with some of my green onions. And then I have a mixed salad with romaine and still some kale from my garden. Kale likes the colder weather. Now on my salad, I bought these at my last haul, which was a while ago. And these dairy-free feta crumbles, they're Follow Your Heart. They're really good. So I put some of that on my salad. I put some of this Follow Your Heart dairy-free sour cream on my chili. And then I always like to put pepitas on my, salted pepitas on my salad. So I put some of those on there too. And these are even good as a snack. So, and then I put a little bit of leftover, I had a little tiny bit of leftover celery, and I have enough salad left to make one more salad tomorrow. And then my produce, except for the apples, will be all gone. So, I think that's a pretty good meal for things I had in the house. Alrighty, that's all I have for you today. I'm going to eat this because I'm hungry, and I want to wish you abundant blessings. I love you guys, and I'll see you next time.